Hey guys, welcome to Dear Diary episode 6. If you are new here, welcome, look around, make yourself at home, don't be a stranger, hit that subscribe button to join the family, and if this is not your first time here, hey fam, what's up? Okay, we covered a lot of topics in my session today, but at the end of it all, my therapist asked me to consider why I downplay myself and my accomplishments so often. So, as always, let's unpack this. In my last video, I shared with you guys that I took the first steps in pursuing my dreams. Now, if you haven't watched that video as yet, I will leave a link up here and also down in the description box, so be sure to check it out. In a nutshell, right after my last therapy session, I drove to a community college, met with an administration, got set up with an advisor, found out that I needed to take a placement test, and that is a long story, possibly for another video. I studied a little bit, took that placement test, scored the highest that one could score in every single subject, except math. I'll be honest, it felt nice to do well on a standardized test that's recognized by an accredited institution, but at the same time, I thought, you're almost 30, this is common knowledge, you should know this, okay, let's move on to the next step. After I told all this to my therapist, she shot me this astonished look and was like, well, I'm really proud of you. I don't understand why you're not more excited, why you're so hard on yourself, why you're so critical of yourself. And so that's kind of how we ended the session. She told me to think about those questions, and here I am. As I tossed around some answers in my head, I found it really interesting that I can be someone else's biggest cheerleader and supporter, especially my kids. When it comes to my kids, oh my goodness. I'm like, woohoo, yeah, you did it. My eldest daughter will bring something to me that she's mastered or that she's working on, and I go like mom crazy, and she'll look at me like, mommy, this was really simple though. I just wrote the letter A. And I look at her and I'm like, I know, but come on, let's celebrate. You didn't know how to write the letter A yesterday and you know how to do it today. So come on, you should be proud of yourself. I think there's a little bit of overcompensation in that area. Anyway, so I'm sitting here trying to analyze this, and I'm not going to go through all of my childhood right now. If you all have seen any of my videos, then you know about my backgrounds. Once again, they're all listed in the description box. Check it out. There's a lot of good stuff down there. But I will hop up to my teenage years. When I became a teenager, our religious views changed and they became a bit more extreme, more conservative. Essentially, I was taught that my feelings were to be distrusted. They would lead me astray, not to listen to them. But an interesting contrast is, while I was taught that, my grandmother had a very, very strong personality. And she just kind of walked about the house doing and saying whatever she pleased. I want to pause right here and say my channel, this series specifically, was not created to bash anyone. I am eternally thankful for my grandparents. I feel highly blessed to have been raised in their home, but like every home, ours had its share of problems. My grandmother was tremendous, extraordinary, such a strong woman who also had baggage and wounds, just like the rest of us. So this series is intended to help me heal and find answers, and in so doing, hopefully relate to some of you all or encourage you wherever you are in your journey. That said, an interesting contrast in our home is that while I was not able to express my feelings and my emotions, my grandmother could scream in my face because of an error made if she wanted to. And I kind of grew to resent that hypocrisy. And let me clarify something. When I say express my feelings, I am not talking about a teenager that's disgruntled with a new rule that's been set up in the home. What I'm talking about is if I sighed the wrong way, and this actually happened. I could have been thinking about an arithmetic problem or something that was going on in my circle of friends, and if I sighed, my grandmother would tell me, hey, you need to correct that. That's from the devil. It's not being cheerful. You need to rebuke the devil, etc. And so at a certain age, I just rebelled against my grandmother's antics. For her, it was emotions on prompt. If she was not happy, then something needed to be changed. If she was happy or she felt that everyone else needed to be happy, then she'd stand in our face and sing a song about cheerfulness until we produced a smile. I hated it. It was like something under my skin just scraping. It was like the worst thing ever. I just really, it irked me so badly. And I'm sitting here trying to figure out why I felt so strongly about it. and why I felt the need to rebel, even though I wasn't really conscious of rebelling in a way. I don't know. Oh my goodness, something that just came to me. Okay, so we know that children need a stable environment to thrive. And when that stability is not there, they tend to act out what certain people see as acting out, when really they're just crying and starving for love and attention and stability, or whatever else the case may be. So I guess in my own way, because our home had become so emotionally unstable, and so I tried to, in my own way, seek some kind of control over what was happening in our home. And if I couldn't control that, then I would control myself. And so I vowed that my grandmother would never see my true emotions again. Whether happy or sad, she'd never see them. And I became really placid in nature, which really served to be a double-edged sword for me. Oh my goodness. But I remember the incident that happened that really pushed me over the edge. So I play a lot of instruments. I started taking piano at 7. And one day as a teenager, I came home from my piano lesson. I'd been given this new sheet of music to practice. It was a piece by Bach. And if you guys know anything about classical music or anything about Bach, you'll know that some of his pieces are a bit complicated, and that sometimes the right hand is doing something completely different than the left hand at the same time. I'd been given this new sheet of music. I sat down at the piano, fumbled over a couple of notes. And guys, one thing about me is I can be a perfectionist, especially when it comes to my creative works. And I know my best friend is probably looking at this and she's like rolling her eyes thinking, just your creative works, you're a perfectionist about everything. But I can say without a doubt, when it comes to my creative work, I can be a perfectionist. I sat there at the piano, stumbling over the keys, perfectionist in my head, disappointed in myself that I was making all these mistakes, but trying to be patient with myself. When my grandmother ran out of the kitchen, she came into my practice area, stuck her finger in my face, and she started yelling at me. And she started berating me for making these mistakes. And I remember sitting there at the piano, just looking up at her, and she looked so angry, and she was just yelling. She went on and on and on. Finally, my uncle, my grandpa came in to try to stop her. And I started to cry. But that did not make a difference. She just kept on yelling. And I remember that moment, and I felt so bad because she didn't care. She disregarded it. And in that moment, I thought, you will never see my true emotions again. I will never allow you to hold my heart in your hand, because I'm crying, I'm being vulnerable, and allow you to just hold it there and beat it up. I'm like, it's never happening. I don't care if I'm happy, if I'm sad, you will never ever see my true emotions. And obviously that ended up hurting me more than it did her. And that mindset stayed with me all throughout life. Now, there have been seasons in my life that have been more lucid than others, and I've let my guard down. I've become vulnerable with people. But those seasons have been very few and far between. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I truly believe that the relationship we have with ourselves is the most important relationship, because it defines the integrity of every other relationship that we'll have, including the relationship that we have with God or a higher power. I want to work on this, and I'm deciding today that I want to change. So, how about I start right now? This is so awkward. But you guys, inner dialogue is so important. Okay, let me try. All right. Shaquala, I am so proud of you for following your dreams. I am incredibly proud of you for slaying that placement test. You are amazing, and you will continue to be amazing. Oh my gosh, that actually felt really, really, really good. I feel kind of warm from the inside out. Fam, this journey of self-love and healing is something else. It's continuous, really, because the moment we think we've arrived, we are right back at the bottom, because we are evolving, hopefully. We are growing, changing, learning something new every single day. I love you all for watching. If you'd like to see more episodes in this series, please hit that subscribe button to join the family. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a single episode. Give this video a thumbs up, hang out with me in the comment section down below, and I will catch you guys in the next episode. Remember, you are the best. Peace.
You might surprise yourself.